sure they can play that ridge as comfortably as they really want to. And yeah, then you just see the numbers come through pretty naturally because the angle enables you so heavily. So yeah, Dplus, I just hope, Jason, we don't see a little bit of a fall off like we saw in the group stage, but this is a similar start. And I gotta say, their third party, their timing was absolutely on point, and I love to see that from them in the first game.
Well, not only them, their brethren, Mir and Sejong here, Hotchicks, having a fairly decent game as well here, playing from that south side.
Yeah, I mean, Mir and Sejong, they land right where this circle pretty much ended up on, right? So, I mean, this should have been, I think, a little bit more of a solid match from them. But I mean, for the first match of the day, I always have, like, I call it the hot jukes excuse card. I punch it for everybody for game one. You know what I'm saying? Because Sanhok, you know, new group, it can get a little bit sketchy, but MSJ to be able to put up some good eliminations is a great start for sure.
We actually, talking about the teams that reached the late game, we have to bring up Xavier, right? Like, let's not forget, they were involved in a hot shot like in Paradise Resort versus Stalwart and completely just swept the floor with them, to be completely honest. Like, they just completely destroyed Stalwart in that position, then initiate the transition point and take control of that high ground north of Mir and Sejong, Hodgix. That was a great transition point for them, and then they can just exude as much control on the lobby as they really want to. And off the back of that, they are going to be the top fragging team this game with 13 points. GX coming in to play.
Going that full IHC route here, like we're talking about. I mean, the aggression of Xavier is phenomenal, but can they maintain it when we get obviously into these other matches? You know, 4MV coming in from Kao too, getting some 7 points for themselves. They ended up having to deal with loops, and RCB were there as well, but RCB ended up rotating into Dplus instead. ZEUS getting some good eliminations. RCB got some good eliminations here as well. But another team we're going to have to talk about that it was kind of confusing in terms of what they were doing. We were a little bit, you know, disagree with each other on what were the reasoning behind this. But BIGETRON on the Northwest Island, I know you spotted this out first, Max, if you can talk us through it, but Hans was kind of playing away from his team.
Yeah, so the rest of the team of 3 of the players were playing the Northwest Mountain, as the team that typically drops there would do. But Hans was just scouting the northern coast, and I really thought for the longest time, Jason, the idea was, we're going to find a boat. If it goes over to the eastern mainland, then we're just going to do a quick boat take before any team has the chance to react, before any team has a chance to get control of strong positions in the circle near the coast, and we're just going to claim that position first. I thought that was the whole game plan. I don't know if they just didn't find a boat or whatever happened, but that scouting really didn't give them too much in the end, which I think is a bit unfortunate. There was a really good opportunity to pull one of the best boat takes outside of the Team Spirit one that we've seen this PMGC.
I mean, it's kind of hard to top that one. But if we're talking about rotation, Sawchooks, also 77 has to be brought up here. I know we were looking at this and Max was getting furious about them. They're dropping over in Same, but they rotate through Northwest Island instead of going towards mainland.
Hesitation, like, I mean, it's wild because 77, we saw them go on over. It looks like they were gonna do like this boatate in like late circle 2, and instead just are like, oh yeah, by the way, if we attempt this, we're like 100% dead because we're gonna be so late. All the main edge you know, areas right there on the side near Cow are already gonna be taken right now. So they just say, you know what, forget the boatate, let's go ahead and drive super late into this circle, and then they just got obliterated. So yeah, 77 just got, I think, too much in their heads, and instead they should have just, you know, slowly just crept in, and you got to just battle it out sometimes, you know, those little sneaky D plus Kia rotations are just not available.
I think looking at 77, Hodrix, there were 2 good options. It was all the early boatates, which as we saw did not happen, or going to the eastern mainland. Going to the west, you're forcing yourself to cross 2 bridges that you know are being gate kept by, like, not 1 team, not 2 teams, but at that point I think it was 4 teams look in your direction. So 77, sure, it's only 1 Sanhok a day, but the next time, hopefully they go for a little bit of an easier route, because I think they just tuned the game mode to hardcore for themselves this game, and they could definitely have made it a bit easier.